Okay, it's your boy Kamal Hart back on the chart, and we're going bar by bar. So, um, we can get started a little later. Say 524, that looks good. I'm seeing a leg up. There's two legs in this leg. See that leg? Pull back, that leg. And then we're getting this second leg higher. It's making higher lows, higher highs. So, I have a target when I measure this leg and bring it over. And then I'm going to try to get a trend line on here. It doesn't look like I'm going to have much to work with off the highs, but off the lows or something, you know, I don't know how this is. I don't really like the way that fits too much off the highs. So we can work with that for now. Maybe there was a breakout, or maybe, maybe the high is up here and there's a midline. Any one of these could at least get us going. So as we move closer to the actual print area, we're going to wait for a pullback, try to get long. See how all this is going sideways? That's not anything we need. That's just some congestion. So we're going to wait on that. See this breakout. Now it's pulling back to the congestion area. That's what we need. Right? We're waiting on this break. That's going to be our first entry to the long. Let's wait. Doesn't break here or there. Okay, maybe it'll break here. But the thing going on there now is that we have a little thing there. It's like another piece of congestion. So this is a decent long, but it's just too aggressive right now, especially if you look at this trend. This is a pretty significant leg. There's maybe a break outside. If not, we're just getting that break outside. So let's just wait, see what it does. That gave us the push up. This is the higher low. This is actually where I took my first trade of the day. I'm actually going to stop taking this higher low trade for like my trend analysis because it's too inconsistent. So what happened with this trade is that I entered on this bar, but when I usually enter a trade, I have a two-point stop. So from 31.38, my stop would have been at 31.36 right here. And I entered and prices just reversed one tick away from my stop. One tick away. And then it set up a second entry long. So this is actually where I should go long. I was already in, but this is the better long right there. So I got really lucky that I hadn't moved my stop yet, because usually I move my stop one tick below the signal bar. So I got stopped out and then would have reversed. So, for once luck is on your side. I guess luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So finally getting some lucky trades, that's kind of cool. But I'm definitely in long here. And there's my scalp. I did the whole, since I entered on a limit, most people are going to enter on a stop. So I had my limit, and then I moved my take profit one tick higher to be equal with all the people who probably entered on a stop right there. So off this low, see this low? There's a first entry, and this is a failed second entry. I was already in, so I wasn't trying to add on to my position. But maybe if you hadn't gotten in here, you could get in again right there. And on a smaller scale, I'm going to look for maybe this leg. So on a smaller scale, I'm going to look for that leg. And when I entered this trade, I had two contracts. So on my first contract, I exited there. And then for my second contract, I just brought it one tick from the high, 31.43.25, and I just left it right up there. And I was just waiting to see. All of my targets have it going well past the high, so I was ready to just wait it out, see what would happen. So it creeps up, creeps higher, getting closer. I like how nothing's breaking below, but I'm probably going to move my swing to this double bottom to cover. And then when I get this double bottom, I'm probably going to move my swing back just one tick there, 31.41.25. And then here, so it misses my target by one tick, right? My target was just one tick above. And we were so far from the EMA. We hadn't broke below at all. That looks like a situation where we're going to get a pullback to the EMA. So I didn't want to give up, although my stop was just right here. I didn't want to give up, um, you know, 4 ticks for like one extra tick, you know. So when it broke below on this bar, I just exited. I exited right there on the close. And I'm glad I did because it doesn't really pull back to the high. And kind of makes that lower high. So one stop is one tick below the swing. Another stop is this lower high when it, not the lower high, sorry, when it swings past this low right there. That's another place to get out because now it's making lower lows. That's a sign. And then when it closes below the EMA, you're for sure trying to get out for sure by then. So that's how to manage that runner when it doesn't quite give you. And that, that's a negotiation rule. I was reading that like yesterday. Sometimes in a deal, people will fight for the last 10% of a deal, and that 10% can mess up the 90% you had secured. And that was kind of the situation with this, It's like that one tick, if I would have tried to like quote unquote fight it and try to get that last tick, it didn't pull back, and you end up giving almost the whole trade back if you're too stubborn. But for sure by now, I see a like a trend going down, and we're seeing a double top off these closes. See how that closed right there perfectly? So that's a sign like, oh, maybe this is a range, because even on the trend, the bottom side held well, but like we said, we couldn't find a strong confirmation off the high side, and it didn't even get to the middle channel before it's kind of reversing. So for all those reasons, I'm looking at this and saying, okay, maybe the range is more important to pay attention to. Probably going to have my midline somewhere in there. Boom. So that's the this micro trend now working down. Oh, I missed a trade, sorry, but that green bar broke above this red bar. So when it breaks below right there, that's the failed second entry short. That's not the trade I would have taken, and I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with it. Maybe it's a little bit sideways, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that trade. I just wasn't, I don't think I was in the mind state to take that one. Now you're getting your pullback. That's the first entry to the lows. We're going to wait. Okay, keeps going, that's fine. So now we kind of crossed over to this other side of the range. Let's see what happens. And then we get, oh, okay, I actually really mistook where I was on the chart. So on a sim account, I did take this trade. I just want to be thorough, but I did take this trade. Um, this one worked out because I had my stop up here until this leg, so I was able just to kind of swing trade that, and then when it broke above right there, I exited because I knew it would probably break this swing. So that was also a really good trade. I don't know what I was talking about earlier, but because if this is a range, you're going short on the upper side of the range. That's a solid trade. Here's a failed second entry short. Um, it's okay. I don't think it's a great setup. I'm trying to think of why, other than it's really close to the midline. But I've taken trades that are close to the midline. I don't know. It's sketchy to me. But you get that pullback and you get a little bit of a push up. And if you entered on a limit order, you are able to exit. But if you enter on a stop, it fails. So um, depending on how you entered this trade, you either barely get out or it kind of fails. So that's just what it is for that entry. So now we're getting another leg down. Um, so I would say this isn't a good trade. And I'm really trying to think of why. I think maybe let's think about an idea where, see, off for this trade, it was coming off the highs. For this trade, it's not coming off the lows. It kind of forgot where it was going in the middle and then kind of came back. So that's not really a strong, I want to get long after a touch and I want to get short after a touch and skip most of the other things in between. So here, like it's a failed second entry short, but we're on the wrong side of the range a little bit. Um, let's see if we do a measured move where that gets us. I'm going to skip this trade, but let's just see what we might be looking at. So maybe there. And if you take that, 75, it's not out yet. And now it's getting so stacked up that you're for sure. I don't know if you want to exit, but we're not trying to add on any more trades or get into a trade if I'm not in. And if you're still in, okay, well, here's step one. If you took this trade, right, this failed second entry short, even though it's on the wrong side of the range, so that's why you should not take this trade. But you took this trade, you take it, then the very next bar closes inside of your signal bar. So that means not that many people were trapped. And that means you should be trying to scratch, and this trade gives you plenty of opportunities to scratch. So you should have easily gotten out of this trade if you get tricked into going short there. There's that little sign with this bar. Once it closes inside of this bar, that's your sign that not that many people are trapped, and I need to be careful. So just going sideways, there is nothing there that I am interested in. I lied because there's a second entry right here. See this low, first entry, second entry, but it's not that great. There's not that much room to the low. It's not a good signal bar, but it's there. And then when it moves up a little bit, it's a better entry. You get a couple ticks back. It's still not a great signal bar though, and it's an inside bar. But there's a second entry right in there. And that one shoots down. Probably would have skipped it. Now we get this kind of like a breakout, and it goes right back to the highs, and then it's sort of a breakout pullback, and then this thing has a push. And I today was an FOMC announcement day, so this was a pretty gentle move. Sometimes the moves are much more exaggerated. Today was pretty gentle, but that's pretty much at 11. That's when that news came out. So I'm for sure not trying to take any trades for about 20 minutes, which is here, or 30 minutes or so, just to make sure you don't get whipsawed. Um, there's a failed second entry long, but it's on the wrong side of the range, so I think it's going to be worth skipping. And at this point, I, I'm noticing with ranges, right? Sometimes it is a little hard to find the bottoms, or like you'll find the tops and have a hard time finding the bottoms, or you'll find the bottoms and it won't be so clear on the highs. But when I see that it bounced here and then it bounced here again really well, I think I'm going to move this range up. I think the range is going to be more so here. And then I can move my midline up a little bit. Somewhere there. And that still doesn't get me in that trade, but now I have a little bit of a tighter range. And I get this pullback. Here's a first entry that we're going to wait. That's the second entry right there, but it wasn't a good setup. Not a good signal bar, so we gotta kind of wait that one out. But now we're getting this touch off the high side, and here's a second entry short, but we gotta wait for the lower high. Here's the lower high, but it's an inside bar. That signal bar is not that good. That would have trapped you. There was a long, but we're going long in the wrong direction. I'm not trying to go long up there. If it breaks below, there's a lower high, but the signal bar is eh. And that's about 12 o'clock right there. 12 o'clock. So, man, there was like really 3 trades? Wow. Yeah, I mean, a lot of trading stopped for this FOMC announcement, and it just kind of crept up, and there wasn't really much you could do with that. Maybe you would have entered there, maybe, but there wasn't much the rest of the day. So some days are chill. I mean, there aren't many days where there's only 4 trades. I think it's really good that on a day there was only 4 trades. I really maximized on the one I took, but yeah, some days will be like this. So I'd rather sit on my hands, watch the market tick, than force anything in here, force anything up here. Um, the best setups, and because the past 2 days I've had to work really hard just to make $10, and a day like today shows me that, to be honest, your best days are like your easiest days. Like when you take the right trade, once you get into your scalp and you start swinging the trade, I mean, it's an easy process. It's not that much stress. So if you're trading and you've taken 5 trades today and you're stressing on 3 of them, that's a sign. Like it's not your day. Like the best days, you'll need 1 trade. That's it. And then 2, just because, like, hey, why not? I have extra money. But that is all I saw for today. Of course, I'm going to be back tomorrow. But until then, study hard, live life with enthusiasm, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.